5 things you should know so that you can be able to run a successful business. Now, the first thing that you should know is that you should always be in control of your capital. Now, listen to this. You are in business because you have a capital in the first place. The moment you lose your capital, that's the moment you start being out of business. Okay, so in everything you do, make sure that you control your capital and make sure that you stay in control of your capital. There are two different things: controlling your capital and staying in control of your capital. Okay, do these things and always make sure that your capital is always intact. Even though you're not making money at the moment in your business, make sure that you keep your capital intact. Protect your capital. That's the way you are in business. Lose your capital, you lose your business. So keep your capital intact. So that was the first thing that you need to know so that you can be able to stay in business. Now, the second thing that you should know so that you can run a successful business is that you should know this, that businesses where people pay before they receive their service will always outlive businesses where people receive their services before they pay. Now, if you are starting a new business, always make sure that you find a business that people have to pay you first before you deliver your goods or service. Okay, there are businesses like that. Now, what I mentioned is that identify businesses that are that way. It will help you to go a long way. Finding businesses that people pay you first. You get your money, you are seeing your capital and your interest, and then you deliver your goods and services. Those businesses cannot be overemphasized. Those businesses, that kind of business will always outlive businesses where you have to deliver, render your service or your goods before people pay you. So make sure you find that kind of business. And if you run that kind of business, that business has 100% chance of succeeding. Now, the third thing that you should know before so that you can be able to run a successful business. And this third thing is very important, okay? Now, the third thing that you should know is that you should be outside of debt and never be inside of debt. Now, I'm going to explain this concept. Give me a few seconds so I can explain this concept. Outside of debt and inside of debt. Now, I say that you should never be inside of debt. When you are inside of debt, it means that you are running a business of $10, for example, your business capital is $10. And then you borrow money to expand your business and you borrow $15 to expand your business. That is what it means is that you are inside of debt. And what that means is that your business, the money you borrowed, is far more bigger than the capital you use in running your business. Now, eventually, if you lose the borrowed money because maybe you made a bad business investment and you lose the $15. Now, even if you sell off your business, which is worth $10, it's not enough to even pay the debt you borrowed. So that is when you know that you are inside of debt. Okay. So do not borrow money to expand your business that is way bigger than the capital you already invested in that business. Do not do that. Rather, what you should do is that you should be outside of debt. And what this means exactly is that if you are running a business of $10, right, then you borrow an extra $5 to expand your business. Now, even if you make a bad investment, okay, you lose the $5, your business is still worth $10 and you sell off that business. Eventually, if you declare bankruptcy, you sell off your business of $10. It means that you can actually pay off your debt without having any issues or problems. Okay, so you should stay outside of debt and never inside of debt. That's the number 3 thing you should do. Very important. Now, the number 4 thing that you should know so that you can run a successful business is that you should never create a demand by yourself and then respond to it. Never do that. Rather, what you should be looking for is that you should be identifying a demand that is already there. And then when you identify this demand, That's when you can respond to that demand. Don't create that demand by yourself. Rather, identify a demand, identify a hole that is in the market, which is a demand, and then respond to that demand. When you do that, it implies that people are already there. People are looking for something, but then there is nobody to help them to achieve that. Now, when you identify this gap, and then you respond to this gap, that's how people come into your business. That's how you attract people to your business, and then you can make a lot of money for yourself. Now, that was the fourth thing. And the fifth thing that you should know so that you can run a successful business is that you should have a business with a lot of cash flow that is coming in. Okay? If you always do this, it means that you are exchanging your goods or your service for money immediately, right? Have a business that has a lot of cash flow that is coming in. Now, there are businesses that doesn't have a lot of cash flow, okay? Businesses such as people who are loaning out money to other people. A business, maybe you put together maybe $1,000, and you're using that $1,000 and you're loaning people money, right? So that when they pay back with interest. In as much as you have money, right? You loan that money, maybe when they pay back with 20, 15, 10% interest. Now, there is money in that business, but then it doesn't have cash flow because people that you lend money to, they are holding your capital. And then until they pay back the money, maybe it takes them 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, as the case may be, until they pay back that money with interest, that's when you make money. But if you already have a business that once people come to that business, that's when the money comes to you. You don't have to wait for another week to complete a deal. You don't have to wait for a month to complete a deal. Once people come into your business premises, they're already looking for what you have, and they're giving you money immediately and taking the product or the service that you have. That's what we mean by having cash flow that is coming into you on daily basis. I hope you have learned a thing or two from this video. Like, comment, share, and follow me for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.